What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. While the Napoli-Milan match yesterday did nothing to help Juventus' track up the standings in the table, right now Juventus has a big opportunity to catch in, hopefully, what you would expect to be 3 easy points, but could also be a big setback if they can't seem to do it tomorrow against Cagliari. Max Allegri talked about it. We'll cover it now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri. My name is Justin Sofro. Today is Monday, December 20th, 2021, and of course I have your latest rundown of all things Juventus. As we know, Juventus has earned 3 hard-fought, I guess, good points against Bologna the other day. Why can I not think of the name? Anyway, against Bologna the other day. Now they need to be able to do that one more time before the winter break really sets in, and then they can really... then they have a hard trek to go once January kicks in with playing some of the top tier teams. Maybe, though, some big-time opportunities to try to, close the gap between those teams and themselves. All right, before we get into what Max Allegri said, let's just go ahead and get through it. What we always have to ask y'all to do, hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. Today, we'll be announcing the winner of the Juventus shirt, so stay tuned to the channel and make sure you're watching all the videos and liking and doing all that good stuff. Anyway, and also... just because today we're giving away something doesn't mean this is over, though. There's going to be more stuff we'll be giving away in the future. Actually, we have something lined up for the very near future for another giveaway. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. We want to do as much as we can to give back to our community, give back to the Juventus fans that also that love it and love the community that we're building as much as we do. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, as always. All right, let's just go ahead and just jump on into it. What we have here, what Max Allegri really had to say for the Cagliari match during the preview. All right, first off, Max Allegri said the last match of the year is important. Everyone is preparing gifts and suitcases for the holidays. I feel like I'm reading the intro to a freaking, an old, I was trying to think, was it Dickens? Or anyway, whoever it was, the old Christmas novels. Anyway, let's restart that. The last match of the year is important. Everyone is preparing gifts and suitcases for the holidays. The most important thing is Cagliari, who have important values and do not deserve this ranking. If we think it's an easy game, we are wrong. Where do I go from here? I mean, there's not a lot for me to really say. It's coaches doing coach speak, saying what they want. Obviously he's trying to build up, be like, guys, you have to take this seriously, yada, 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 yada. But at the same time, I understand Juventus is not in the situation we have been in the past where, and I shouldn't say we, they have been, you know what I mean? But I'm going to say we, I'm a fan, I'll say we, that we have been in the past. But at the same time, when it comes to Juventus, you dropped points to lesser competition. So, yeah, good points. Let's move on to the next part, though. That's more important. All right. Max Allegri goes on to say, available players, those who were there in Bologna, will be there tomorrow. So that's good to know. You'll know what players will be available. But I guess that also means nobody new will be available. So, of course, Dybala's not going to play. Chiesa's not going to play. Chiellini's not going to play. You're going to be stuck with what you have. But honestly... and I know this is dangerous to say, but the players that Juventus really had against Bologna should be able to pull it out against Cagliari as well. All right, goes on to say in these months between January and February, we will play for the season, but it all comes down to tomorrow first. And it's a very good point. Kind of what I was saying in the intro here was basically you have a big opportunity. You get these 3 points. Whatever happens with the rest of the table right now happens. So say for some reason Inter, Milan, Napoli, Atalanta, whoever have you, one of them may slip up, or even the guys that you're tied with right now. I believe you're tied with Roma and Fiorentina right now. One of those guys hopefully maybe can slip up. If they do, that helps you gain 3 more points, get a little bit closer to 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But at the same time, this is an opportunity. And then, and as dangerous or as nerve-wracking as it can be to look at the schedule when you look at January, I looked at it. I'll be honest. I looked at it. I was telling myself I wasn't looking at the table. I wasn't looking at the schedule. I was taking it one game at a time. Yeah, I lied. I looked at all that. January is daunting. It's very daunting. Obviously, you got Napoli when you come back. But these are big opportunities. You have to beat these teams. You have to close the gap there that you have with these teams. And we know from the performances against Napoli and Milan already that Juventus and I want to say, and it's hard for me to say this because, you drop points, you lose games. The Venezia game, the way that one played out, you should be a better team than you were at the beginning of the season. right? Is that crazy for me to say? I know some people may disagree with me, but I feel like you should at least be gelling a little bit. Maybe you're not better because you're missing some key pieces that are injured, but I feel like you should be maybe working a little bit better. I understand. I am also a huge critic saying this team's not doing great and a lot of things. I don't see a plan. I don't whatever. But at the same time, at the beginning of the season, Ronaldo left this big. The way he did it was terrible for chemistry. It was terrible for a lot of things. I have to have a feeling that maybe you can come out there and play a better match, especially if guys come back healthy. Dybala, Chiellini, Chiesa, or whatever, in those matches at the beginning of the season, to maybe, I don't know, maybe pull out those wins that you didn't have, but they were close matches either way. What am I doing? We're not previewing Napoli. We're not previewing the top of the table. We're previewing Cagliari. So let's stick with that. All right, and then also he said optimism is always there, even in difficult times. You have to maintain the right balance. So yeah, you have to be confident in yourself. If you're not, then you're already losing a battle right there. All right, but then he goes on to say that, but if we don't win tomorrow, the win at Bologna will mean nothing. And I appreciate him saying this. And this is one thing that I respect about Max Allegri is he doesn't sugarcoat any of this. He doesn't sugarcoat the nonsense. He doesn't go out there and say, oh, that was still a great win. That was whatever. He's like, no, if you lose this match, you wasted bleeping time. Like, he's a realistic coach. I'll give him credit there. I enjoy that. I enjoy his not overly optimistic personality. He's a realist, which at the Bianconeri zone that's what we do here. He goes on to talk about the Ligt and that whole situation, saying Raiola and Ligt. I didn't hear the interview. He's growing in Bologna. And okay, I don't know. I don't believe that he didn't hear the interview. I think he heard the interview, but sure. I didn't hear the interview. He's growing in Bologna. He made 2 great defensive interventions. He's 22. He can grow. Market. Oh, okay, Vidra. So, what'll be will be. So we'll see what we'll see what goes on with there. Not really a lot to really dig into when it comes to his his personal belief in De Ligt. I know that's a lot of the game you play though as a coach. What are you gonna say? Like, no, please don't go, whatever. He's not gonna beg. That's not who Allegri is. But at the same time, he's not also gonna be like, if he wants to go, get the bleep out. He's not gonna be that guy either. It's just gonna be like, play it cool, calm, and collected, see what happens and how this plays out in the end. I don't see Max Allegri being a super vindictive guy and saying a lot of terrible things. I think he's much more, intellectually, he's better to handle himself. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, continuing on, and I hit that. That's how excited I get, guys, when I'm talking about Max Allegri. We're talking about Juve. I just hit the mic. Anyway, I could edit it out. I'm not going to edit it out. He goes on to say Dybala did not train. Let me make sure I have this still in the right setting. There we go. Dybala did not train with the team this morning. Taking a risk tomorrow would not make sense. Surely Danilo, a bit further back, I forgot about Danilo. Yeah, Danilo back too. And Chiellini will be with the team on the 30th. So that's good to hear. Hopefully they'll be back and they'll be returned and healthy and good to go. But we'll see because, I am a not consummate positive. I'm more negative, really. Like I said, you can't be disappointed if you expect them to not come back anyway, especially with Dybala and his injury situations and the way they played out in recent months, years, honestly. All right. He goes on to say, we're doing well physically and mentally. Optimism is always there. We mustn't lose our balance in difficult moments. We are missing the points of those famous 5 games, but we have to think about the future, improving the scoring aspect. So yeah, it's a good point. Those 5 games that you played, you really had opportunities that you really just didn't capitalize on. You fortunately, besides the Napoli match, you really, Inter and Milan, those 2 matches, you didn't give them up too many points, but you didn't help yourself either. So it really didn't do any good for you. We'll see what they can do, but I think he's really honing in on and definitely, talking about optimism and how important that is moving forward for the club. He goes on to say you can't go anywhere with ifs in the market. Arriva Bene said some things, and at Bologna, I said that with this squad, we will have to get through the season. I think they're really trying to downplay and trying to be like, guys, January is going to suck. If you're a Juventus fan and if you're having positivity or excitement about the Mercado. Let's calm it down there. It's probably not happening. I hope I'm surprised and shocked and have something to celebrate, but it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's going to be much for Juventus fans to be excited about come January, especially with all the news reports that are coming out lately. So I think they're trying to let you down a little bit easy here. Goes on to say Keane should play tomorrow, and I'm satisfied with the way he played at Bologna. He made himself available to the team and played a good game. I am going to have to disagree a little bit on the good game. He was my worst rated player. I didn't see him doing much. He's lost any kind of killer instinct. He's not doing the things that I expected him to do, which is unfortunate. What I will say, though, is when he says satisfied, maybe he just means he did what I asked him. Maybe he was asking him to do some things that I wasn't really keyed into. I don't know what Max Allegri goes on in his head and what his game plan is, or if he's just trying to instill confidence in Keane and not trying to berate him at any, slight opportunity. We'll see. I hope to see Keane develop more because he's a player that I really did like coming into the season and that I was excited to be adding at Juventus. So we'll see what happens there. He goes on to say, do expiring contracts affect the season? Absolutely not. At this moment, we haven't decided who should stay and who should go. There are absolutely no problems from this point of view. I don't know. I guess so. With me personally, I would kind of be, I would not be pouring into guys who are going to expire and going to leave. Dybala. What I'm saying, he's not going to leave. He's going to renew. But I'm saying, guys that I don't know why I said Dybala. I guess I should. The Ligt, it makes sense if you're trying to earn his respect and his trust to end up staying. But if there are some guys that are just out of here, then now I'm kind of understanding. You look at Artur. If he's going to be out there on the market, not about his contract expiring, but about him and his contract about being transferred or whatever, that makes sense why he's not being played. So we'll see how much that really matters. I think you're going to say whatever you can, but really it does play into it. If you know a guy doesn't have a future there, why should you invest in that player? Unless you're trying to do maybe the McKinney route, which was really trying to hey, let's raise his if he's playing well and he can play enough and he can build his stock a little bit, then it'll be good to sell. So anyway. All right, and then finally he says, I feel good in this particular work situation. It makes me feel young. I have different players to those I had years ago. We'll improve a little bit at a time. I don't know if he's saying that he feels young because when he was young, he came into kind of a mess, but I don't think he was in that big of a mess with the situation that Conte left him. But what I will say is maybe that has to be what it is. He feels young by that because there's no possible way that he feels young watching this team play. And if I had any more hair to lose on the top of my head, I'd be losing it by now. I'm surprised my beard hasn't started falling out because of it at this point. So, I mean, it's a different kind of human being that can be a coach, that can do the things that they do, that can thrive in this kind of atmosphere. As a fan, it's nerve-wracking, it's frustrating, I don't want to say depressing because depressing is it's kind of a ridiculous statement to make, but you know what I mean? Whenever your team struggles or has, issues, it's frustrating, especially when you're not used to it. When you're a Juventus fan and you expect Juventus levels to be higher than they are currently. Anyway, that's all that Max Allegri really said about the team going into the match against Cagliari. Obviously, it's a very important match. They need to win. They need to get those 3 points, and they need to come into the January the second half of the season very strong so that way they can be competing there in the top 4 and maybe eventually down the line for the number 1 spot, but let's stick with top 4 for right now, for being honest. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and join the community we have here. Hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Also, like I said, make sure you stay tuned in to all of our stuff. We'll be doing more and more giveaways down the line in the future. Actually, in the very, very, very near future. You'll be surprised at how quickly a new giveaway will be popping up after today. Also, make sure you follow us on all of our social media, Bianconeri Zone, at Justin Sofro, Genotti151, and Alejandro BZ. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.